me talk my shit. They talking that shit. That's a double dose. Underlay, vamonos. They lucky I did not pull up with the check, but they wanna hear it, so here I go. Let me talk my.
What's up? It's your boy Chucky.
And it's double dose.
We're in the same location today.
I traveled.
So we actually have two guests today. What we're going to be discussing today is pretty much fathers' rights, and we're going to talk about dating from the men's experience. We talked about it before, from dating from like the woman's experience, and we had women on. So today we have two guests. We have one guest. His name is Rodney. He is a lawyer in Texas. I'll let you introduce yourself just a second. And then we have Matthew as well. Brian, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
I'm Matthew. Hit the nail on the head. Brian Moses from Texas. I am an attorney. I'm from Oklahoma originally. I practice in Texas. I've been licensed for 8-9 years now, something like that. I can't remember, but I practice mainly family law here in Texas. So yeah, and I got a beautiful family, 3 girls and 1 boy, so 4 kiddos. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
All right, awesome. All right, how about you, Matthew?
My name is Matthew, Memphis, Tennessee. Here right now in Clarksville, business owner of Dream Wings. I do have 5 kids total, almost enough to just play a basketball team right now. I've been dealing with the family law situation for about 17 years and still ongoing. I've gotten custody of 3 of my kids, but I still co-parent well with their mother. I have joint custody with the 4th, and I'm working on getting custody with the 5th now.
Cool.
Awesome.
That's awesome. All right, so the main reason that we want to have this conversation, because a lot of men don't know that they do have rights, or the things they have to do things they have to do in order to have rights for their kids. There's a lot of people, they may be on child support or not on child support. They go through baby mama drama and everything else like that, and they don't really know what their rights are.
Or they're confused about what their rights are.
Yes.
Or they're misguided, I'll say.
Yes.
I more so run into people who are just completely clueless of what their rights are as men. So
yes,
it's actually pretty alarming. I didn't realize how many, and I know I have relatives that, have said some of the most craziest things. I'm like, they can't do that, right? Just because they can't do that. Like, they can't. If you don't give me 150, you can't see them. Oh, no, that's not legal. That's extortion. So, so it's crazy.
Yeah. So, y'all both have experiences because both of you all are single currently, right?
That's correct.
Yes.
You both have to deal with baby moms and everything else like that. So, what exactly? I guess, Matthew, you want to go to your experience first? Like, what exactly is your experience? How do you have to advocate for yourself or your kids?
So I will say one thing that is good is that we're seeing the system itself go towards a direction where fathers are actually able to get their kids. About 17 years ago, unless you could find a picture with the mom with a crack needle hanging out her arm, it was almost difficult to be able to prove why you should have the children. But over the years in parenting and going through the ups and downs, I've actually developed a solid co-parenting foundation with their mothers, albeit the one that I'm going to go get custody for now. We just don't have any communication. And that was the one that I told you all before the show that I actually adopted. But, other than that, I actually have really good, relationships with their moms, and it's it takes 2 parents to be able to make this happen smoothly. But if you're able to step up to it and you're willing to step up to the plate, I think that there's a lot of fathers who can do this, and I think there's a lot of fathers who should take the opportunity and take advantage of some of the knowledge that's going to be dropped here on the show to try to move forward and making that happen for them and their kids.
Definitely.
I agree.
I definitely agree.
I don't have children, so I'm taking mental notes so I can learn, and I'm trust me, I'm getting my questions together. It's just if it look like there's smoke coming out my ears, it's because I'm thinking. That's all.
Mhm.
Well, cool. I tell you my experience. I am lucky that in the sense that I am divorced. I do co-parent well with my kiddos' mom. We actually have like what we call 50-50 custody here in Texas, meaning it's split, meaning I get them for 1 week and she gets them for a week and we alternate. And so when it comes down to decisions for the kids, we do a pretty good job. We're trying to do what's in the best interest of the kids. And so I'm lucky in the standpoint that as far as co-parent with somebody, we're able to communicate. And in my practice, that's not always the case. And you talk about, I have guys or people who are scared to talk to the baby's mama because they're afraid that she's gonna take them back to court, or something like that, or they don't know what their rights are. And like Matthew said, the system is kind of shifting towards the fathers, in the sense that a lot of judges now, in the state of Texas, mainly, both parents have equal access and rights to the child. It becomes a matter of which parent can care better, more for the child when it comes out with primary custody. But essentially, people come my practice, guys, and realize that you have just as much of a right to your son or daughter just as a mom does. Just because they live with her right now doesn't mean that's the best place for them to live. We can go in there and try to get you to be the primary custodian, parent, to have the kiddos. And so I hope we can get guys to realize through this podcast that, hey, you have rights to your kiddos just as much. And even more so, things now going on where drug testing, video, all those kind of things can help you in court. Like Matthew said, unless you caught them red-handed with the needle out the arm, then it was hard for guys to get custody of the kiddos. But that's not the case that much anymore.
I do have a question. What and both parties can answer. In your experience, what's the reason why so many men are afraid to go to court? Like, let's just say there's nothing wrong. They don't have anything going on in their record or anything like that, but they're afraid to go. Like in either your experiences, why is that such a common theme that I'm afraid, or they're afraid to go to court, or what have you, or get the court involved, I should say?
I'll go after him. I'll let Brody, Brodney get this one, and I'll go after him.
Well, there's a couple of reasons. I would say a lot of times, mainly, let's keep it real, they're scared to pay. They don't have to pay that child support amount, and so they figure if they can stay out of court and just keep it cool with the mama, show them some money here and there, then then everything will be cool. Kind of don't rock the boat. But they know when they go to court, the judge go order them to pay child support. So it's not that they can't pay or they're trying to be a deadbeat dad. They're just really trying to keep as much money in their pocket as possible. Also, some of them, it's a machismo type of thing. Like, I take care of my kids. I don't need no judge to tell me this, that, or the other. I can take care of my kids type of thing. And so that's another reason. Also, there's some things that might have happened in the past that they don't want to get exposed during the court process. And those things will come out when it comes down to judge have to say, okay, which parent should I let the kids go with? Well, there might be some secrets in the closet. They might necessarily not want to get out.
Okay.
Yeah, and to add on to that, one of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of men are so used to the stigma that the courts are in favor of the fathers that also puts a fear in them to be able to go, and they're uneducated in the family law area. So a lot of them do this whole, I'm not going to go to court. I'm not trying to go to court. Not going to court doesn't stop you from having to pay child support. She can go file a petition for you to go to child support. If you've already signed, like for Texas, I know for a fact, if you sign a acknowledgement of paternity in Texas, that gets sent in to the Vital Statistics Department of Health down there in Austin. And then the Texas Attorney General will put you on child support. They will subpoena you to come there. And if you don't come, you get a default hearing anyway, right? And
they'll come hunt you down. You're right. They'll come hunt you down.
And in Tennessee, it's the same way. And what a lot of people don't understand is now they have come out with these calculators, right? So you got people who won't even go to court to get visitation because they're scared, and they don't realize that being scared to go to court because you think court's not going to go in your way or in your favor means you don't get visitation schedule on on the docket or through the courts. So when they do the calculations, they calculate what your child support is going to be based off how much you make, how many kids you all have, and how much time you spend with those kids. When you don't go get a visitation order so that you don't get that time granted, your child support is going to be higher. So they really don't know that they're really screwing themselves over, because not going to court ain't going to make it to where you don't get on child support. And two, not going to court isn't going to help you. It's actually going to hinder you, because now you got to pay more in child support. So you really don't gain anything.
Okay.
Yeah. Not
So-
I mean, can I add on to that real quickly? Just so guys will know, the worst thing you can do is avoid the court process as far as child support, because in Texas here there are ways where the biological mom can go back and ask for retro child support, meaning that if you were supposed to pay at a certain point in time, you didn't pay, and you knew about your child, and they can get back child support on you. So you thinking like, hey, if I don't go to court and she can never put child support on me, that's not the case. They can go back a certain amount of time, and you will owe that back child support and child support going forward. So
yeah, and just to add one more thing onto that, one thing I've noticed, and this is actually, so when I was going to court to get my daughter when we were younger, right, I would always lose. But one thing I would always do, when the attorneys would be like, yeah, so what can you tell me about, mom's situation? I would always be, because, men have this no snitching thing, especially men from the culture that I'm in. So we not going there and trying to snitch. We just like, look, man, I'm the better pops. I think my child should be with me. And that's just that on that. And then, you get attorneys like, I'm sorry, I want to make sure I'm not messing up your name, Mr. Bronny or Mr. Moses, who comes in and we give him limited, information, and there's not much that he could do with that. So then I've learned through my divorce that when you go into court, it ain't no, oh yeah, that's my baby mom's, I don't want to be a snitch, I don't want to, bro, you better be Mr. Telly. Sir, on January 1st, 3:30 p.m., she was over here at the crack house, everything that you can got, you have to come with it. Because I guarantee you, on the flip side, she done already made her timeline for you, where you been, who you been with, what you did, how you did it, how many times you went to jail, this charge. So a lot of men don't understand that the reason that they lose is because they allow themselves to hold back. They don't want to seem like they're the ones being, the mean parent, or the one being a mean, they don't want to go through all of that process, and that's what's needed. And I think that's what keeps them out the courtroom, and it keeps them from being able to have equal share to their children.
So I actually got two questions. The first one is, okay, so when you say they can go back for back child support, if the man can show that he was paying her or giving her money, does that count towards anything?
Yes and no. It depends. Like, yes, it can, but it really depends on the judge. Because some judge, depending on what you gave, how you gave it, it can be determined to be a gift. So it can be done that way. But if they're wise enough to go, hey, I'm going to get a cashier's check, I'm going to write that this is child support on the money order or on the cashier's check in the memo, it needs to be able to show that you gave that money specifically for the care of the child. And if you can prove that, then yes, it'll come off. If you can't, then no. It's a toss-up at that time. It's just got to be litigated in court.
It has to specifically say in that memo line or that note section, child support.
I would recommend that it specifically says in that memo line child support, so that there's no questions asked what it's for. Because let's just be honest, if I go give my girl money today, she could be like, oh yeah, we was on good terms. I asked for my nails done. He gave me this money for my nails. He didn't do anything for the kids. Or, hey, the child had a birthday. He helped out with the birthday party. Yes, but he didn't really do anything else. That's a gift. So, when you write child support on there, it's just giving your attorney or representative one more coat of armor. If you can go in there and say, hey, I've made regular payments. That's also another thing. Regular payments helps the attorney too. If you pay every other week, you can go, even if you don't got the memo, you can go, hey, attorney, your honor, I make regular payments every check that I get to help with the child. Now, when you got a payment here and then a payment 4 months down the line, and then, it really kind of hurts you, because it's not showing consistency, and they can't prove that went towards you helping the child out. So if you're going to do it, anybody listening, I recommend that you get a money order or a cashier's check or if you just got regular checks, and put inside the memo line child support. Protect yourself all the way around. Give your attorney a fighting chance to be able to help prove that you are taking care of your responsibility as a father. That looks good to the courts. It looks good to the judge, and it helps you in the long run.
Okay, Mr. Brown.
I would concur with that. That's good advice. I'm not here to give legal advice, but I would tell you in my experience, in my experience, it is best to have everything electronic. Don't no hand-to-hand cash. That's first of all. And so, and preferably if you have Zelle, Cash App, something like that, where you can electronically trace the transactions sent and received, that's even better. But if you have to do cashless checks or money orders, absolutely always put memo child support for this, child support for whatever it is, child support. Okay, if you gave him money, just put child support on there, no matter what. And there is a way that if the mother is cool with you, she can acknowledge that those payments were as child support. But just be honest, if you go into court and you on one side of the table and she on the other, y'all balance things out. So she's not gonna agree it was child support. Y'all fighting at that point in time. So you do things when things are calm, when y'all getting along, and send the money and say child support. So
Okay.
absolutely.
And then one of our Facebook listeners, they said with being a same-sex couple, it makes things a little bit harder. Is that, can that, not that either y'all are same-sex couples, but can that make things harder in this situation? Like so far,
make what harder?
Yes, it depends. There are some mitigating factors. There are some factors. So when you're talking about same-sex couples, of course, that one, I have to ask, was this child conceived naturally, or was this child conceived IVF? That makes a big difference there. The reason I say that is because if the child is conceived naturally here in Tennessee, you can't, like a father can't just go, I don't want to be a father no more, I give up my rights. What has to happen is you have to, one, meet certain requirements to show that per TCA here, that you're not active as a parent, and there has to be somebody else to be able to fill that role for you and take responsibility of that role in the form of adoption. That's how that goes. Now, when you're dealing with same-sex couples, of course, if they're same-sex, they didn't conceive naturally. So then the first thing is, the first problem that you run into is parentage of the child. If it was a natural birth, they're gonna always have that issue to where they're gonna have to go to court. There's gonna be some type of court process, because either somebody's willingly gonna have to give up their rights, or they had to already have had pre-agreements. I forgot what they call that birth. When the mom gets pregnant and carries the child for another couple, but y'all know what I'm talking about.
A surrogate?
Oh yeah, surrogate. So if you have surrogate agreements, you have that. So really, it's a fluid situation. You're gonna have to look at that case by case, because each situation is different. And you can get a different answer depending on the variables that's there.
Okay.
Yeah, I would just back up a little bit. When the listener said, does it make it harder? Does it make what harder? Are we talking child support? Are we talking about custody? What did that mean by make it harder? What's it?
What I'm assuming is honestly trying to prove that you are, I guess, like trying to work out parenting agreement trying to work out parenting agreement together, I guess, or child support, or how that goes. Does it make things harder if you're a same-sex couple?
Here in Texas, based on what you just said, it doesn't make it any harder. If you are a same-sex couple and y'all get divorced, essentially, one's gonna pay child support, one's not. One's gonna be the primary concern, one's not. So it's all the one and the same if you're a heterosexual couple.
Okay. My other question is that okay, so if you have sex with a woman, right, and she becomes pregnant after the fact, and you don't know, what exactly are those steps that you do to step in to see if you are the father, or if, like, do you need to go register your name? Do you need to go do anything like that to show that you may be the father of this child? Or what exactly?
Put yourself on child support.
No, but
put yourself on child support. One of the processes is I mean, once you find out, you have the right to go, hey, I believe I'm the father of this child, and I wanted to see about getting the child support process started. And what happens is the judge will order a DNA test. So the courts, let me not say the judge, the courts can order a DNA test to establish parentage, and you can go that
Okay.
route.
Can
Go
I
ahead.
can ask.
Go ahead.
Can a mother without the father consent put a child up for adoption?
Whew, it can happen. It can happen. I've seen it happen, but normally when that happens, what ends up going on is they say that the father isn't there, or they say they don't know who the father is, and when they say that, they can basically say that the child has been abandoned by the father and strip him of his parental rights. And once they strip him of his parental rights and he no longer has parental rights, then the mother is the only, she can legally give up her rights at that point once the father has no rights. Now, there's been cases, and it's even been in the news, where it was said the father abandoned the child when the father really didn't abandon the child, and they, been looking for their child, stuff like that. And then the mother gave him up for adoption, and that causes confusion and issues later when the father now has to go get a lawyer, prove that he didn't abandon the child. First, then likely get legitimated DNA test to prove that he is the father of the child to be able to regain custody. And sometimes it's successful getting custody, and sometimes it's not.
I'd say here in Texas, it's a long process before you even get to the finalization of adoption. If a biological mom puts up a child for adoption, there are a lot of mechanisms. I'm sorry, in Texas, to make sure that the biological dad is trying to be found, he is located, he gets assigned an attorney before she can say, okay, I want this child for adoption, and the biological father has no say so in it at all. So it's a thorough process in the state of Texas to make sure that biological father who wants to be involved, his child is not getting for adoption without his knowledge.
One
Okay.
thing I will agree with him on is Texas is built different, because I used to live there. I was in Houston for a while. I worked on the oil rigs, and when I had when I originally signed the acknowledgement of paternity, remember I was telling you I was young, so I didn't know what I was signing. I thought I was just taking temporary guardianship because she had got herself into some trouble, and I was gonna be just take temporary guardianship of them. So I signed the acknowledgement of paternity. So when I found out I had signed the acknowledgement of paternity and went to go get my name off, oh yeah, they gave me a laundry list. It took me 30 seconds to get on, but they gave me like a 3-page sheet to get off. So I just said, bump it. I'm just gonna keep them as my own and just keep raising them because I ain't want to go through the steps. But he right. One thing about it is in Texas and places like that, they do take the children a lot more serious than I've seen them take in Tennessee. I've been in Tennessee where they won't go through the extra stuff to look for you. I've been in Tennessee where mom can just say she don't know who the dad is. They don't even take the chance or take the effort to try to look for you. But in Texas, once you on there, they coming to look for you. Like, I don't even know how the Texas Attorney General found me for child support in the middle of Memphis, Tennessee, when I had a warrant for suspended license and Memphis police couldn't find me in Memphis, Tennessee. But the Texas Attorney General found me though. So yeah, they just built different down there.
I want to kind of backpedal just a smidge. Is putting yourself on child support really actually beneficial? Is that really beneficial to do that? Because I've heard it over time and what have you. So I'm just wondering, is that really a benefit to the father, or is that just
I say it's a benefit for a couple of reasons. Mainly what I talked about as far as the back child support, so that won't accumulate against you. If you put yourself on child support and you're paying it, she can't come back and say, well, for the most part, she can't come back and say that you didn't pay child support, you didn't abandon the child. As well as, if you put yourself on child support, that kind of reduces that risk of she just putting the child for adoption without you knowing, because you're on record as the father, as somebody who has some type of legal responsibility for this child, so you can't get quote unquote lost. Also, it depends on the case and the situation down the road. I would use it to show your intent, your intent to be involved with the child, your intent to be, involved and not be an absent father. And so versus, hey, judge, this person knew about this child for 3 or 4 years and 5 years, and now he wants the visitation. Now he wants to see the kiddos, and he hasn't been involved. Versus, hey, Your Honor, from day one, my client, acknowledged the child was his, put himself on child support, pay this child support amount, and now things have changed, and he or she is asking for more visitation or to be the primary conservator or something like that. So it does help the father, the man down the road.
Yeah, and I'm gonna add on to that and say the only time I would say or tell my friends to don't go put themselves on child support is if I know they finna put a ring on it expeditiously and go ahead and get married, because then at that point, there is no custodial parent. They're both, considered the parents. But most of the time, that's not the way it goes. So I agree with Mr. Moses that protect yourself. Go on ahead and just put yourself on child support. Unless you're finna get ready to marry her real soon, like in the next couple months, just go on ahead and protect yourself.
Okay.
And does it matter when you do it? So, like, should it be done, as soon as the child born, or if it take, let's say, 5-6 years for that to happen, for whatever reason why it's taking, 5 years or whatever? Does it matter a time of when you do it, or you just do it?
I guess your question, like to piggyback on your question, is do they go back? Are they still going to go back in years? If you do it, if you put yourself on child support, just say your child is 5, but they still going to go back in years?
Yes.
They can, yes. So you putting yourself on child support means nothing unless you actually pay the child support. Okay. So you putting your child support, you sit back and not paying, and then 5 years down the road, she takes you back to court and asks for back child support. She still can get it, right? Because you didn't pay. So it only benefits you so you can pay, get ahead of the game. Don't dig yourself a hole to the AG's office, the Attorney General's office, on back child support. And also, at that time, if you are putting yourself on child support here in Texas, at that time, visitation is set up too. And so the sooner you do it, the sooner you can have legal, court ordered visitation with your child versus, well, if you don't go to the court, you're at the mercy of the mom whenever she feels like it, whenever she's not doing something, or whenever she's not mad at you. Okay. So the earlier you do it, the more you put yourself in a situation, it can benefit you.
And that's why I say Texas is built different. And that's what I love about Texas is that, they're a little bit ahead of the game when it comes to father rights than it is a lot of other places. Here in Tennessee, I want to tell people who's listening, if you're in Tennessee, that if you're going to file for child support, you also need to file for a visitation because it's not automatically just given when you get put on child support here in Tennessee. So child support court is one thing, and then you need to go petition for a visitation. Normally, standard visitation here in Tennessee is first, third, and fifth weekends. And again, I would actually, if you're going to put yourself on child support, I would actually do the visitation first, then put yourself on child support. And the reason that is because your child support here, when they do the child support calculator, is based on how many days that you spend with the child, how much money you make. So if you do it after you file child support and they set you a child support based on 0 days visitation, then you go get visitation. Now you got to file for a modification for child support because you're not being charged the right amount now that you have actual visitation days. So if you're in Tennessee and you're listening to this podcast, visitation immediately, no questions asked. If she mad that you filing for visitation, then even more reason to file for child support. And then file for child support immediately after that. Don't wait and be responsible enough to just pay what it is. Because like he said, if you don't pay it, you're going to get put back child support. If you wait 5 years, back child support. If you're behind on child support, they can take your license. They can put out warrants for your arrest. I saw a dude that kept coming to jail. I was in jail with him for suspended license. And I was like, what are you in here for? He just seemed so cool. He owed $15,000 on child support, and he told the judge he wasn't never going to pay it, right? He wasn't paying nothing. So the judge sent him to the penal farm until it paid off, what the $15,000 is. The issue is that until he paid it off. I think they gave him 1/3 of the $15,000. So it was like 5,000. It was like $5,000. It had to be paid off. He was gonna stay in the penal farm. Well, his issue is you only get like, I think it was $75 to $100 a day being in a penal farm. So divide that up by 5,000.
A lot.
Gonna be enough for
He was gonna be in there for a long time. And when the judge can do that, you know, I mean, you can go get an attorney to fight it, but you already in prison. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think that the judges do that, send you to penal farm, so that, because once you in there, trust me, any person that's in prison, they calling people to find the money to go on ahead and get them up out of there. So they make them pay. So I'm saying all that to say, don't play with this. Don't wait. Don't procrastinate, because you can lose your license. You can lose your freedom. You don't want to have a good job, be consistent, and then go to jail for child support, because they're going to replace you. As a business owner, I'm telling you, if I got somebody working for me and they're going to be gone for 3 months on child support, I can't wait.
Yeah.
And if I can add something to that, I know we're talking about the legal stuff, but I try to help counsel my clients as well, oftentimes. And you know, some people want to, duck child support and pay the least amount of child support. Some people want to pay what they owe. But I tell my clients, do it as early as possible, because at the end of the day, the most important thing is you spend the time with your child. You establish that relationship with your child and being with your child. So that removes mom and removes any type of financial obligation, as far as paying child support. Do it for your kid, so you can establish that bond, so your kid can never say, dad or mom, you didn't fight for me, you didn't try. You weren't there for me. And so just at least do it for the kids, even if you hate the mom on the other side. So yeah.
I am going to say that just my own experience with Florida, they're somewhat the same lines so far as with Tennessee. When I was adopting my little girl, I was married before, and because I was married before when we started the adoption process, they wanted to put him on child support. He said that he did not want to be a part. He said he did not want to be a part of adoption or anything like that. He had to file a petition. Hire a lawyer to remove himself from the adoption, so they would not do child support. They tried to do visitation and everything else like that, and then he just refused. And then they ended up suspending his license and everything else like that. So Florida, a lot of their things are so far the same way.
And part of the reason that happened is because any child that you get during the course of the marriage is automatically kind of grandfathered into that marriage. Like, for example, when I was married, if my ex-wife had went out and got pregnant and had a baby while I was married to her, and that baby was born, they automatically would have saw me as the father of that child. Yeah. We would have had to go through a bunch of steps legitimizing the child and still having to go to court and stuff like that to be able to get that change. But any child you have while you're married, that you obtained even through the adoption process, if you're married, they automatically become both of you all's child. Now, I don't know if you all. I'm sorry, you said what?
I said that actually happened to one of my relatives.
Yeah. Now, what happens is again, you can go through those steps, or you can go through, if y'all had gotten a divorce, y'all could have agreed to a parenting plan, and then, could have made it to where you made all the decisions and, stuff like that, and came to an agreed upon parenting plan. There was other steps, but that's just one thing you want to make sure that you're careful of when you're married, and especially going through the adoption process, because when you're married, any child you have is grandfathered in. It's both equal custody to both parents.
Yeah. So just switch gears a little bit. So how is dating with you all? How is dating with all of your children and everything else like that? And explain these things to new people.
Wait a minute.
Matthew's eyes was the size of his cover. How is dating? How is this? How do you introduce this to somebody? Like, say if somebody does not have kids, or if they're just new to this, they're new to this whole you're a father and to baby mamas and everything else like that. They're new to this. How do you his eyes again? How do you introduce this to dating?
Come back, Matthew. It's okay. It's
just been one of those things, because it's always kind of weird, and I think Mr. Moses could tell you, if you meet a woman who's a single mother who's taking care of her kids, it's just natural. It's like, oh, okay, I understand and I respect that, all the kids. But I promise, if I don't answer the phone while I'm dating somebody and I go, yeah, I was taking care of my kids, they just act like, oh, well, you should have found a way to answer the phone while you were doing that. Like, I literally get this. Like, men don't get the same, I'm a single father. Like, women get, I'm a single mother. When women say, hey, had to take care of the kids, blah, 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 we don't really say anything else. We be like, oh, understood, what you cooking? Understood,
Yeah,
or what you
yeah.
getting into. But when we say we got those type of responsibilities, it gets into the whole, well, you could have did X, Y, Z to fit me into your schedule kind of deal. And that's one of the things that I've always run into, is that people don't understand single father means I go through the exact same thing you go through as a single mother, and that's just been one of the hardest things. But I have learned that I don't bring, like, unless I'm talking about we finna get ready to get engaged type thing, I don't bring people around my kids.
That makes sense.
See,
I'm the same.
Get on board with that, because I feel like, especially as somebody who does not have children, like, I feel like at some point you got to have some kind of established, like, relationship or some kind of bond with the kids way before you're engaged. It doesn't make sense to me. Like,
you don't have to have a
But
bond with my kids. What I want is when I date you, I'm finding out, do you have the ability to love kids in general? So I don't have to have you around my kids to figure out, are you the type of person who would show any child, whether they're yours or not, love in general. But I have to gauge it off me. I know that you could strike my nerve today and get fired today. So I don't want to keep bringing my kids around different women, because that's not that's not what I want them to take in and think that it's okay. I mean, it's okay to serially date, but I don't want you to come in and get attached to my kids. They come in and be like, what happened? I'd be like, man, she was talking during the anime. I had to go ahead and let her go real quick. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just giving y'all an example, but I don't want to come in and just bring them in their life, because my kids already went through a lot through the divorce. When a man normally has his kids and has custody, just know that it was, especially in my position where I have sole custody 100%, 100 days of the year with no visitation on the other side. They already went through a lot. So I would be just as bad to keep bringing this person to help them fill this void that they have. And then when they fill that void, they get happy. It don't work out with me and that person. Now they got that void again. I'm really just re-traumatizing my kids.
Now, I'm certainly not talking about like a fly-by-night type of person. I'm saying, like,
you ain't talking about booty calls.
Exactly. No, first of all, I don't even want a booty call knowing my dogs. Like, those are my babies. Like, whatever. But no, I mean, like, at some point before you decide to propose, like, at some point they have to, show some kind of connection to the child, don't they?
But what I took from what he was saying, because I was single when I was single and dating with my child.
Yeah.
So what I took from what he was saying, when I see that I'm developing more into engagement, we're developing more. Yeah, I'll introduce you to my children when we're getting closer to those steps. But if I don't see us getting closer to those steps, ain't no point in me introducing my kids. That's what I'm taking from that.
Because at the end of the day, one of the things and I'm not gonna say their name because they may be watching this show, so but I actually shared a home with somebody that I was really, really close with. And my kids, we all lived in the same house. My kids, their kids, me and that person. And that person ended up leaving. But they left while I was at work, and my kids was at home upstairs in their room, and they told my kids to go upstairs to the room, so my kids didn't know they were leaving. So, after they left, they sent me a text message like, yeah, I went on ahead and moved out, yada, yada, yada. By this time, we had already split, but we was like, we was going to stay together, stay under the roof until the lease came up. That didn't happen, so I was kind of blindsided by that. But when I came, my kids had to stay in the house. They were 8 and 10 years old in the house by themselves until I got from Nashville, from where I was driving to the house. Now, she isn't, even though I feel like don't ever leave my kids like that, because, I wouldn't leave yours like that. I was responsible for making sure that they was in an environment where they wouldn't have to be left like that. I was responsible for the person that I brought around them who I thought would show them the equal amount of love that they would show their kids. And obviously, somewhere in my judgment, I failed. So at the bottom line, I failed my kids. If something would have happened to them, that was my ultimate responsibility, and I would have failed as a father. So now I cut it short. Unless we finna get ready to, move forward to the engagement, marriage, and all of that, just not meeting my kids. But I'm honest with people up front, and I'm like, hey, this is where I stand as far as my kids. If they can respect that and we can move forward, then cool. If they can't respect that, say la vie. I got to go do something else. But that's just where I'm at with it. Because I know how I am about my kids. And I know that I will go to jail for life without the possibility of parole behind my kids. I don't want to put nobody in a position to where I'm finna lose my business. I don't want to put myself in a position where my kids won't have a father. So I have to be really, really sure. And again, a lot of time that comes with me, like we'll be on the phone, and most of the people who I date, that's in my age bracket have kids now. I'll listen to how you interact with your kids. And I kind of judge how you are with your kids before you can ever come see mine. I don't got to see you and your kids together. But if I hear you on the phone, get your mother, go do red flags all across the board. You can't see my kids. And I'm going to find my way up out this situation real quick because I don't want that for my kids. So it's just those type of things. Like I was saying, I just think it's a little bit harder being a single father trying to go date because we don't get held to the same standards as single moms when they're trying to go date. Most men are willing to take on all that extra stuff, and a lot of women, like most women who are single mothers, come in and they like, oh yeah, I got me a nice strong man. He gonna come in, he gonna see my kids as his own, and he's already stable. He got a job, boom. And most men come in like, oh yeah, she fine in the mug, you know what I'm saying? She intelligent, she got a head on her shoulders, she got goals, she do got kids, but she taking good care of her kids, so that's good. Most women come to single fathers like, that's baby mama drama. How many kids he got? How many baby mamas he got? Oh, that sounds like drama to me. I don't even get to see, so it's different.
That is true. Especially the last part. As far as how many baby mama drama and I tell people all the time, like I got, I said I got 4 kiddos, and all by the same woman, right? So I don't have multiple baby mamas. So people don't often believe that, and they think that well, when I tell them we cool, you have to worry about her ever popping up over here or something like that, or me popping up over there, wherever she is, and they just don't believe it. Like, yeah, right. Y'all still cool? I'm like, we cool. We function for we get along for the kids. You know what I mean? And so, we do have to do the co-parent with the kids. And so, and we don't get that same grace. I was busy cooking for the kids and I couldn't get to the phone. It's like, yeah, you sure you were, or something like that. You know what I mean? And now for my situation, because I got my own practice, and I got my kids for a week. My weeks that I don't have my kids along at work because I'm usually catching up on stuff I wasn't able to do when I had my kids. And so the white working so late, white working so much. I'm like, well, I gotta, I have to do this. And then when my kids, well, you don't have no time for me with the kids. Like, well, I was cooking or I was doing homework or something like that, or we got an early morning because I got to do their hair. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So we don't get that same grace of okay, well,
don't say you cool with your baby mama. That's automatically y'all still fucking. That's the next line right there.
Wait.
Don't say you hate her.
I got a reason
That's the double negative. If I say I hate her, I got baby mama drama.
Yeah.
If I say we cool, we still messing off.
Yeah,
no winning in that situation.
Yeah, it's no winning, and that is not the case. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna give y'all some free game on that. The reason why, because we sit in with the women with all that have kids and stuff, and that's what they talk about. So when we hear it from them, from their experiences and the way they talk, when we sit around and we have our little girl talks or whatever, this is what's being said. Oh yeah, they friendly. They, I thought they was just there was an amicable situation. Nope, kind of find out they were still hunching around. There's a new baby coming on the way. Oh no, being too friendly, being this, that, and the other. Oh no, he don't take care. Like we hear this stuff, and we're looking at it like I'm speaking as a single woman with no kids, and I'm just like, we hear this, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, that's a little terrifying. I don't want, and then y'all single men to come to us and be like, hey, yeah, I'm I do have children. Oh, you got children? Wait a minute. Oh yeah, but me and my ex-wife and me and my kid's mother, we get along. Y'all still hunching. No, y'all too friendly. Y'all shook hands too a certain way. I don't like that.
But that really like puts you in the whole. That literally like that's insecurities for one, and the second thing that's literally puts in the whole thing with men, the whole belief that men can't be friends with women. Because I mean, you can be friends. That
ain't no regular woman though. That's somebody you laid down with.
But you gotta look at it like this though. My first child I had was when I lost my virginity and I wore a condom. And she still came here. And she's still here. So I ain't gonna lie. When she was pregnant, I was like, I was a little slow behind the curve. I didn't understand women back then. Of course, I'm 18. So I didn't want to say nothing stupid, but she was like, do you think it's your baby? Because you acted kind of weird. And the correct answer was either yes, I do if I think it part of the way, or no if I don't think it any of the way. I thought I was being the in-between by saying 90%. Well, I thought 90% was going to be good. I learned real quick that it was the 10% that was more important that I thought of the no. So that caused me a lot of problems. But with saying that, even with me partially thinking like, man, how I get a baby my first time, you know what I'm saying? My cousin out here just throwing that thing left and right and she ain't pregnant, but I get a baby the first time wearing a condom, and then baby came out looking just like me. So I'm saying that to say sometimes it don't be people. It's people out here who just met, or was real cool, had a one-off, and now they got a baby. They don't even like each other no more, or they cool, but they don't even see each other in that light. It's certain people that I literally, like, I was dating women, and I didn't look at looks or nothing like that. And it took me dating this real fine woman to be like, dang, I really ain't had no taste back then. I was just dating anybody. You know what I'm saying? So now my taste is different. You know what I'm saying? So when I look back, I don't even look at, some of the people who I'm cool with the same. Like, I'd be like, yeah, nah, I done already had this. So I would never regress back to that. But they cool because we didn't have bad blood. We just didn't work out. We moved forward. You don't always want to be with a person who you once slept with. Sometimes you realize I should have just kept it as friends. Mm-hmm. I never should have went that level with that person. But I was single, that person was single, I had time, they had time, it is what it is. But I tell people all the time, if you ever want to come in and make me feel like I got to choose between you and the mother of my children, then I choose the mother of my children. And I always get it brought up, well, you got sole custody or you got custody, so obviously the mom wasn't doing what she was supposed to do. And the honest part of it is no. The mother of my children love their kids endlessly. Mm-hmm. They do whatever they can for their kids. They will walk barefoot across the country, whatever, for their kids. They'll die for them. I was just smarter. She wanted to move to Memphis. She took one of the children to Memphis. I went in, since I knew we were still married, I kept the two boys here in Nashville. As soon as she went and moved to Memphis and I knew she was good and settled in, I went and filed the divorce in Nashville because within those first 6 months, that's where the jurisdiction is. Mm-hmm. So that meant she had to travel from Memphis to Nashville every time she went to court. And I told my attorney, get that junk continued as many times as possible because I can afford to pay for an attorney and she can't. So I got it pushed out till she couldn't afford the attorney no more. When she couldn't afford the attorney, she didn't know the paperwork to send in. And that's when she didn't turn in her motion of discovery. So since she didn't turn in her motion of discovery, she got in a car accident. Now she can't even travel to Nashville. So when she got in that car accident, after we didn't get the motion of discovery, for 4 months after she lost her attorney, I told him to file for a default motion. And she couldn't make it to the default motion because she didn't have a car. So I got everything I wanted. And that don't mean she was a bad mom. Once I got custody, I called her back and was like, hey, now that I got sole custody and everything else like that, let's swap years. I get them 1 year, you get them 1 year. She got them 1 year. They kind of slacked on grades, but it wasn't her fault. Every child that went to that virtual learning during COVID kind of, fell off on their grades a little bit. But then she was like, can I get them another year? I said, nope. You got two options. You can move up here to Clarksville because I already got the business going, or you can get them next year. That's just how it's gonna go. And she moved up here, and to be honest, she came here, got her own job. I helped her get a car. She paid $4,000 on it. The car was $9,000. I gave her the other $5,000 and was like, I know it's gonna be hard for you paying the notes and doing everything else. Here go a car. Helped her get her a place to stay, and then after I helped her do all of that, I realized the job was underpaying her. So I was like, come work for Dream Wings. I pay you double what they paying you over there. So now she works with me regularly, and I knew that she knew how to run the business because we both used to manage wing restaurants in Memphis. So people come in and they look at that and they be like, y'all in business together. You didn't help to do X, Y, Z. Oh yeah, y'all fucking, and Raw too. That's how they be coming at me. But really, it don't even be like that. I really just be like, I think
You
about it
want to
like
make sure
this.
the money of your kids good.
It was
I
a
want to
business.
make sure my
it was a
kids is
business decision
good,
for
but
you.
I look at it like this: if I didn't impregnate her 3 times with 3 kids, and she was out here in life right now with no kids and able to go do whatever she wants to do, would she need my help? If she was single at the age she is right now, she could work for herself and be good.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that she'll give her last to my kids. I know that if, whatever, she gonna do whatever for them. So I'm gonna make sure she can do whatever for them and still be good. And the mother of my youngest son, I make sure she good too. Her car was overheating the heat wasn't working during the winter. Went and got another truck. Hey, look, this is my truck, but you can have this junk. Use it whenever you want to use it. Do whatever you want to do with it. I take care of them, but then vice versa. They make sure if I ever need help with the restaurant or they got to go do something, they help me out. So there's really, it's going to take a really strong woman to be able to come in that situation where I'm not beefing with any of them and we all working together to make things happen to be able to work out. And that's why I don't have everybody come in and meet my kids. Because the bottom line is ain't that many strong women out there that's gonna come in and be like, oh, okay, he cool with that baby mama. They used to be together, but they not together, and she come get the truck sometimes. That's the easy part. When you get to that's his ex-wife, they got 3 kids, she working for the main business, she see him every day, it's always an issue. Because if I don't answer their phone call or some days I get off work and I be like, today was just a really hard day, I'm going to sleep, then they automatically think that I'm messing up. So those are just some of the struggles that I go through.
How about your experiences, bro?
Well, mine's a little different as a standpoint of, I'm a little older, you know what I mean? And so now that I'm dating, it's, I meet women who have grandkids, right? And so they kids are growing out the house, and my kids are still young, right? And so it's always that balance of, yeah, I really like you, but I'm in a different stage than where you are. You know what I mean? And so my kids are grown, but I got grandkids. I can have come over every now and again, sitting home with parents versus my kids with me a lot of the time. Even when they're not the week they're with me, I'm still involved some type of way, be it, practices or games or something on my off weeks. And so mine's a little bit different from that standpoint. Finding somebody who can understand that and still want to, have little kids around versus just like, I'm old enough for grandkids. So, and so that's when it becomes, well, that's not that when. So that's when also kind of like Matthew was saying, you doing something else. Why y'all so cool like that? Or, she called, why you talking to her or something like that? Like, look, we're talking for the kids, but also other things as well. You know what I mean? So, and I think it's important that their mom and I have some type of, decent, good relationship for them to see. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? The kids understand to see that, my parents don't hate each other. I have to choose. I got to choose between making mom or dad happy. That type of thing. And so, that's been my experience. So it's a little tougher because I'm in this conundrum of I'm 46 and I got, a 7-year-old, 6-year-old, and so, I was 40 when I had my last one. And so, and my oldest started college. So that's my range of kiddos. So, it takes a different type of woman. So, yeah.
To me, it just sounds like a bunch of like insecurities. Because like when we had the same exact conversation with women about how their dating experience with kids and everything else like that, the things that they said about the things that they said is so far as about men and the men that they talk to and the men that they interact with, or the men have problems with them have problems with talking to their baby dads and everything else like that. It mainly just sounds like insecurities. Like
I agree 100%. You know what I mean? So go ahead.
I can't say that is not. I can't say that's 100%. Is not what I believe. It's like maybe I'll give it a 50-50 mix, because yes, on one hand it is insecurities, but on the other hand it's also like, okay, you can't you have to have some level of caution, and that this is something that can potentially happen. Like, it's not like it's nobody's making it up, is what I'm saying. Like,
I
this
get
ain't
it, but
nothing.
here's the thing you have to realize in life.
Mhm.
You will never be able to, no matter how much caution you have, you can't guarantee that you're not going to experience. Because I have elders on the phone, I'm going to be more respectful.
say
A elder,
elders.
I
a
know
elder
the hell you
nigga.
talking about. That's my
You know what
elder.
I'm saying? I just want to make sure, because I'm profane, so I use cuss words. I don't need nobody feeling
Speak freely.
disrespected.
Speak freely.
But I don't
Speak
want
freely.
you can't guarantee that you're not gonna run into a fuck nigga. No matter what, no matter how much
Yes,
caution you use, you can't
that is true.
guarantee it. So instead of focusing on let me be cautious, let me do this, because what happens is your over caution becomes self-destructive. You
Mm-hmm.
have your boundaries, right? So
Right.
have your boundaries. Look, I expect you to be the amazing person I believe you to be, which is why I'm giving you the attention that I'm giving you. The moment that you show me you aren't the person that I need you to be, it's cut. Just
Yes.
know the moment I find out, I'm not even stressing about it. When you call, I'm not even gonna tell you I caught you. When you call and you hear that doo doo doo, you just already know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wrap. And when you see that and you go on Facebook and you can't find me, and you go on social media and you can't find me, you already know what it is. But a lot of things that I've noticed with women and the women that I've dealt with, and even men do it too. So I don't want to just say it's only women. A lot of people feel like you need closure. I
Mm-hmm.
gotta ask you why. And the thing is I noticed that the other day I was talking to somebody and they was like, I'm just wondering why. Like, why would you do that to me? And I have been through so much stuff in my life. Like when I was married, I was tracking her. I knew she was cheating. And I wanted to figure out why, what was wrong with me, everything else like that. And I tracked her having sex with another man. I wanted to kill them all. But through the divorce, through the years, through me thinking, through me sitting down, doesn't really matter why. What does matter is that this person cheated. They crossed the line that I clearly drew, and I
Mm-hmm.
now is my choice to either stay and move on from it or leave and move on from it. But I can't go to the next person and be like, "Oh yeah, you ain't answer the phone. You might be getting your boots knocked by the next person," and stuff like that. I think the only thing that I've done different because of that situation is I don't look through phones. I ain't gonna lie, because it's like I had to do some inspect the gadget stuff to get in the phone. So you ever had a situation in your life where you did so much stuff you can't even tell how you got the information that you got because you weren't
Mm-hmm.
supposed to do it. So now I'm stuck with this. I got a crown of pillow over here to the side, and I can't tell why I'm mad because I done went through all this extra stuff to figure it out. But now I've learned, and now I've grown and I've matured. It doesn't matter why. It doesn't. I have my standards. I don't have to be cautious with no woman. I'm not anytime I date, I have no caution, walls down. Come on in. The only thing I protect is my kids because at the end of the day, they're my ultimate responsibility. I don't protect or guard my heart because you're going to come in and I'm going to show you all the love that I would genuinely show anybody. In the moment I be like, oh, they crossed my line, I cut them. And that's why I don't introduce people to my kids too, because I know the moment they cross the line, there is no second chance. I gave you one chance. There's more women in the world than there is men. I don't have to sit here and deal with it. So I move forward. And that's just my respectful thing. Hopefully, when I leave, you learn that this isn't okay. And the next person you get with is either on par with what you feel like is okay, or you change and look within and change what's not okay so you can have a more fruitful relationship going forward. So you
Complete.
don't want to have too much caution because you will run a man away when he feels like
Mm-hmm.
I'm the reason, like the last 18 dudes who done messed you up, the last dudes who done slept with their baby mamas is the reason why you don't trust me with mine.
Yeah.
Like that ain't got nothing to do with me. He slept with his baby mama. They slept with their baby mama. That don't mean I'm gonna sleep with mine. Yes, I'm cordial in front of the kids, and yes, we laugh. But I be telling people I had a girl who'd be like, I could just tell you love her, and I'd be like, I'm not gonna lie. When I love you for life. I have different degrees of the love, but like I said, I walked up on my ex-wife at the window and heard her having sex with another man. So even though sometimes we be around and we be cordial, and people be like, they see the part where I be like, oh yeah, we laugh, we giggle, but they don't see the part where I may cut my eye at her sometimes because I feel like I just remembered that you did me in dirty a couple years ago.
Like,
they don't see, yeah,
they don't see
that. They don't see that. I may joke with you one moment, but I still have those moments where I remember you did X, Y, Z to me, and that's why I could never cross that line with you.
Hey, Matthew, let me ask you something, and this for everybody. I'm kind of changing this a little bit because we're talking about dating here in the States. But have y'all heard about? Have you heard about like the passport bros? The kind of that movement. You know what I'm saying?
Get my passport right now. What you talking about? I'm trying to go to the Philippines or the Dominican Republic.
Southeast Asia. Yeah, you know what I mean? All that. Huh?
Look.
Don't get involved in that sex tourism. You're gonna mess around and get caught.
Now it ain't about that. Now it ain't about that.
Look,
That's another show.
Check this out, Rodney. Hajime Mashite, Watashi wa Matthew Des. I'm already practicing on my Japanese, so I can go over there to Japan and get me one. I'm telling you.
But the only flaw I have with the passport bros is like the same qualities that they're claiming that is alluring or desirable in other women is literally the same in Black women.
No,
same.
It's not. It's not.
Yes,
I can tell you. I can tell you. I can tell you why. I can tell you why it's not. I can tell you why it's not. I didn't mean to drop that. I didn't drop that bomb. I'm not finna be disrespectful to women. I'm not finna be disrespectful to Black women because I love Black women. Let's not get it twisted.
Absolutely.
So I'm finna tell you, and I'm not gonna say Black women. Black women in America is the specific people who I'm talking about. They have been raised since birth.
Black woman in America. So how can you?
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying. So see what I just said? I said Black women in America, and you translated that into all Black women in America. This is a Black women in America who this shoe fits. But almost all Black women in America are taught to be independent, are taught to be able to hold their own on their own, are taught to kind of be able to, come with it. Over there in the other countries, they aren't raised that way. In the other countries, they're raised to be dependent on men. They're raised to be submissive to men. And in a lot of places, not being submissive to men can cause you even crimes like in some places in the world, it's punishable by death to think that you can be independent. Now, I don't want that. But what I'm trying to tell you is that men have a desire to feel wanted. We have a strong desire to feel like we are important and wanted. And when you come into the situation saying, I don't need you, then you already have devalued me as a man.
But you shouldn't want to be needed. You should want to be wanted. Hold on. There's a difference.
No. Men should want to be both. And the thing is women shouldn't tell men what they should want to be, because if we tell women, you shouldn't want to be independent, y'all gonna cut our heads off.
Yeah.
But the thing is also to piggyback what he's saying, because the thing is the thing of being one. I mean, the thing is not needing a man, because a lot of times the women, they'll say, "Oh, I don't need a man. I don't need a man for this. I don't need a man for this. I don't need a man for this." But at the end of the day, a man. At the end of the day, you need somebody for something. You show that person that you need them or want them around.
Okay, see, you're trying to interchange need and want, and they're two different things. I can want you, I can want you around, but need is without you, I can't do this.
Let me give you an example though. Do you need people have you ever eaten at a dine-in restaurant?
Yes.
What name a dine-in restaurant you went and ate at where you had a good time?
Ruth Chris.
Okay, thank you.
So when your server came to the table, did you tell them, I don't need you to feed me my food? Or did you
I ain't gonna
just
get it
eat
myself.
your food and enjoy your time?
Yeah, but that's not the same.
It is. What I'm trying to tell you is
Wait,
you
hold
can.
on.
What? Hold on.
You're equating
You
a
didn't let me
job
get
and
to
a
the.
service to a
You didn't let
relationship.
me get to the point. Because
Oh,
their
okay,
job isn't to feed you. I'm just saying you didn't go. I don't need you to feed me. It's okay for you to know deep down inside that you don't need a man. I'm not telling you to take that independence away. What's not okay is when you feel like that's a badge of honor that you got to keep throwing in my face. Not need me, fine, I agree with that. But if I go, hey, I want to go ahead and help you with that, or hey, I want to go ahead and do something special for you because I care about you. You don't got to throw out, oh, well, I don't need nobody to help me do blah 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 blah.
But doesn't that
Now
time
you
out? Hold
just
on.
being
Doesn't that
difficult.
sound like that comes from a place of like I done been abused?
No.
Because and hold on, I done been abused because when you're saying it in that tone and that and even in that verbiage, that sounds like to my ear,
If
it's like
you've been
okay,
abused,
you have been
if
hold
you
on, you have been misused. You have been misused, you have been abused, and now when somebody say, well, I want to do this, okay, wait a minute, my guard is up. Like, hold on. Are you sure that's something you actually want to do for me? Because I don't need you to do it. I can do it myself. It's no problem.
here's the thing though.
If you have to
address every situation with, hold up, are you sure that because of your previous relationship experiences?
But
Then
everybody
you
does
need
it
to
though.
you need to
but the
no,
thing-
I don't
but
do
the-
it. I don't do it,
the
so
thing-
everybody
the
don't
thing-
do it. All I'm saying is
the
you
thing-
need
the
to
thing
that
is,
means you still harbor some hurt in you that you are bringing
Absolutely,
into
because
another
there's a lot of
situation.
people that's walking around. It's a lot of people that's walking around that have unresolved trauma. Hold on.
And that means they're not ready for a relationship then.
But then that's half the world.
Hold up, Matthew.
Even if you go to another country, you can first of all, I have seen the Asian women, I've seen Hispanic women be just as not violent with their spouse as verbally and physically.
But the thing,
but here's the thing.
but-
You want me to tell you here's the crazy part. Majority of those women the majority of those other ethnicities and races are in America. I don't see them do that in the Philippines.
Hold up. I'm gonna honestly, for both of y'all. Okay, I'm gonna use my friends. I have two friends. They're an Indian couple, and they have an arranged marriage. And they were both placed together, in an arranged marriage. But the way they are able to make it work, they are able to submit to each other. And the thing is that in America, we're not taught to submit to anyone. It's always a fight, and it's always a battle. It's always
somebody has to lead.
Battle going back and forth. It's all because like so far as they said, passport bros. When they meet the women over there, the women are taught. The women, they will not really say taught. The way they
9 times out of 10 they're scamming them men. And they're too stupid to see it.
But that's not what I'm saying. But the thing is that when you get with somebody and you want to build something with somebody, you have to both be able to compromise. You have to both be able to submit to each other. Mm-hmm. And the thing is that in a lot of times, in a lot of relationships, people don't submit. They don't. They want to keep. If I can do this by myself, I don't need you. I can do this, I can do this, So back to his statement so far, when we went to the waiter, when the waiters come to you and take your order, you don't say, "Oh, I can go get my food. I can do it."
That's
myself.
nowhere near the same. You're talking about an actual job. You're talking about an actual job where they're in the service industry. That's the example that's being used.
It's not about the job. It's about your mindset. You don't go everywhere else in your life with other people and make sure that they know that you don't need them to do something. You don't do that. The only time women do that is when they come to men who they in a relationship to let them know that they don't need them.
Yep.
They don't go do that in no other facet of their life to let everybody else know, whether it be service, whether it be your family, none of that. Y'all wait until you get into relationships to let the man that you with know that you don't need him. You don't do it nowhere else. You don't have to let the man know.
And to me, the reason is because the way that we raise women or we raise boys here or whatever is you can do this by yourself. You don't need nobody. You don't need nobody to help you. You don't need nobody to do this. You don't need nobody to help you along to get you through this process or anything like that. You can do this all by yourself because that's just the way we're raised.
Men suffer from it too, because that was one of the things that held me back. is that I was raised to be a provider, to be able to take care of everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for a while, I didn't depend or ask anybody for help. Like, I would be a multi-millionaire right now if just 5 years ago I just said, hey, I need help. You
Yep.
know, we don't get anywhere and we don't get forward. Now, I'm gonna be biased with the overseas passport thing because I love everything Japanese. I love anime, I love the culture, and if I can find a thick Japanese woman, I don't care if I'm married. Let me just go ahead and get this divorce signed real quick because I'm moving to Japan. I'm sorry, I'm just biased to everything Japanese. So it has nothing to do. And I love black women. So that's also, if I go to Africa and I find me one of those oily skin, fine black women, I'm gone. I'm sorry. It's a wrap. Yeah. That's my only look. People be mad at me, but I be like, the only reason I normally don't date people my color or darker is because they have an issue putting on oil. They have an issue keeping their body oiled up. And be like, look, man, you can't be ashy out here. Look, as a dark-skinned person, I can tell you, we get ashy real quick. If some water hit our hands and dry up, people it's just visible. You can just see it. You can't be out here without putting some oil on. So I'm just telling you. So, with that being said, I really love black women. But I feel like black women, out of everybody, because we have had to prove themselves so much that it's just automatically in them to prove themselves coming into the situation.
It's not really, it's back to what I was saying. It's not automatically in them. Because the thing is, it's not automatically in them. It's just what you're taught. Because if you go back years ago, you were taught if your man was cheating on you, what Betty White said, take him back. Like all your friends come over to the house.
That's why I said but it's not just that. They have to prove themselves even after being taught that. And here's the thing. The reason why they're being taught that is because the people who's teaching them that had to prove themselves. Yes. Black women had to come in. Black women didn't only have to compete with black men. They had to compete with white women. They had to compete with white men. They had to come into a situation and prove that they were better than every other race and every gender of that race to be able to get ahead. They had to work 3 times harder to get more. So you got those, like, for example, in Hidden Figures, the movie with Taraji P. Henson, she was the smartest person in the room. But because she was a woman, strike 1. Because she was black, strike 2. A lot of people wouldn't even pay her no mind until she started to have to overly prove herself and go above and beyond to do it. Those people taught the next generation, be independent, be strong, do it on your own, yada, 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 because men didn't look at women as equals. But what's happening is now men are looking at women as equals. And now that we are looking at women as equals, you got to think about it. Here's the biggest, and she looked like that, but think about this. This is one of the biggest conversations. Men don't say, hey, we look at you as equals. But there are a lot of men out here that say, oh, no, we got to do 50-50. No, I ain't never heard nobody do 50-50 with somebody they don't view as their equal.
Oh, I don't answer that question.
But see, and the thing is men, and that's where I had to learn. Like, when men say what you bring to the table and what about 50-50, they remind me of me when my child's mother was like, do you think this is your baby? And I said 90%. That was saying 90% was the wrong answer. There was a way that I could have said, hey, I do believe this is my baby for the most part, but I'm in disbelief that the first time that I had sex and I used the condom, I had a baby on the way. That sounds a lot better than I think that this is my baby 90% of the way, because that means I think she a 10% hoe. That's the way she heard it. You know what I'm saying? That's the way she heard it. But men should come in and say, hey, I see you as a suitable partner who can match everything that I'm able to do. Now, I'm not telling you that I want you to take care of all the bills. I'm not telling you I want you to put the exact same men in, but I want to see how me and you can coexist as a pair where we complement each other financially, emotionally, mentally, physically, and all of that. That's literally what they mean when they say, what do you bring to the table? That's what they mean when they say they don't really mean 50-50. No man does 50-50. No man does 50-50. That's just some notion that I haven't seen. No, what I'm saying is there's no 50-50 couple. There's no 50-50 couple. Either
Um,
she's doing a little bit more or
you
he's doing a little bit
you
more.
saying the
But
red pill,
nobody's
man.
doing the exact equal amount.
You can't
I
really
ain't,
like she said you sit around with the red pill man and they be saying the complete opposite. But the truth of the matter, the red pill men be on my side and they be on yours. I'm just letting you know.
yeah, all I'm saying is that that's a lot of times we as human beings suck at being able to communicate to each other,
Yes.
whether it be across genders, whether it be across race, whatever.
Mhm.
Most men think logically and lack the ability to thoroughly think emotionally. So when they
Mhm.
think logic, we come and we speak to women thinking that, hey, you should just submit to what we're saying because what we're saying is logical. And most women, they think with their emotions and they be like, well, if you can't consider how I feel about this situation, then you really don't care about me and you really don't love me. So that's where you always get those people where they bump their heads. And I've learned over the years, you know what, Matthew? I do have a logic, right? But my brother has a way, because my brother's an attorney too. And he is really good at making me debate with myself. Like, I'll be like, man, I can't believe XYZ happened. He'll be like, oh, so what did you want to happen? Oh, well, I think that this should have happened. Oh, okay. Well, why do you think that should have happened? Because of XYZ. Well, how do you think that could happen? He'll keep going until I don't realize that my point ain't really valid, and he ain't had to tell me that I was invalid in my thinking. I had to come to the self-realization. And I just think that's something that all lawyers know how to do. But a lot of people should start. That's what made me start taking that. Now, instead of me going, hey, that sounds stupid. Now, it is some things where I just got to tell some people I love that shit's stupid. You know what I'm saying? Because they just full head on and I can just see that they finna run into the ditch. But if there's hope for them, I generally take in consideration that my logic doesn't trump their feelings. And I can't just come in and say, hey, don't do that, or hey, no, I don't think you should do that. Because in essence, what my partner is hearing is, I don't believe that they're good enough to be able to achieve the goal that they see. So instead of me saying, oh, no, I don't think that's good. Oh, no, I don't think that's, this. I come in and be like, I think you're on the right path, babe. So tell me, how do you plan on getting to where you're trying to get to? Oh, okay. So what are some of the steps? What can I help you on some of the steps? You want to sit down and write a plan out? And I think before we can get into anything, us in relationships and stuff, we got to set some type of communication system up to where we can communicate to where each other, where we're not communicating at each other. We're talking to each other, not at each other. And
Yeah,
that's
that's
until we
anywhere.
figure that out. Till we figure that out,
Mhm.
we're not gonna go there. Like again, Rodney can go into court and be like, his job is to convince 12 people when he's on trial, if he does any trial, that this is how they're supposed to do it. He's not gonna come in and be able to go, you know what, y'all stupid for thinking that my client is guilty, because they gonna go in the room and deliberate and be like, what the fuck is wrong with this man? He
Yeah,
questions
guilty.
our intelligence. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Guilty. His job is to come in and be able to read people, be able to read their body language, be able to look in their face, read their eyes, kind of figure out how they think and try to read the emotions, and then be able to talk to them in a way that they can hear it, to get them to really think about what it is right, if this person is truly guilty and innocent. And then once he figures out how to do that, he has to lay out the evidence to be able to get them to come to the same conclusion that he has. And a lot of men want to be leaders, but they don't know how to do that part. And
yeah,
that's why a lot of women don't follow them. And when those women don't follow them, they get mad and they leave, or they throw these hissy fits. And when women do follow them, and they never really put down a plan to be able to lead these women correctly, now they've damaged that woman. And when she goes to the next man, she don't want to follow him.
But
all
that
right.
just
Check.
brings. I'm sorry, Moses.
I'm gonna say I gotta dip out, man. I wish I
All
could
right.
continue this conversation. There's a part 2 about the Password Bros and all this stuff. I definitely want to be part of it. So yeah,
I got
nice
you.
meeting everybody. I have to head
All
out.
right.
Nice meeting
All
you
right.
too.
All right, bye bye.
But that brings me back to what I was saying, Matthew. With the you have to learn how to submit to each other, and that's not what we're taught as a Black culture. Like we still trying to teach our boys that it's okay to cry, and you can't teach
Oh
a
yeah,
boy it's
because
okay to Right. You can't teach a boy it's okay to cry, and also teach him how to love a woman, because at the end of the day, the way we're raised is men's job is to work and provide. It's not teaching how to work through your emotions. A woman's job is to pretty much take care of the household, and also take care of herself. Take care of herself and take care of the kids. It leaves no man in that. We don't teach our kids how to work. I won't teach our kids how to work together as a couple, as in a relationship. So that's what I'm saying. So far as like submitting to each other, you're not teaching each other how to submit. You're just teaching each other how to juggle the ball back and forth. And either way it goes, y'all got to try to figure out how to work out in between that.
Yep, and that's probably where, and what you just said there, like with teaching them how to cry, teaching them how to be emotional, and teaching them how to balance out, that's probably one of the biggest struggles that I have as a parent and as a partner with people, because I don't show very much emotion. Like, I'm real deal. Like, this is my happy tone. You know, I may smile with it. This is my angry tone. So, you know, I'm very just blah, but it's not. And a lot of people are coming in a situation to be like, well, I want to feel loved. And one of the things that I'm like, well, I do, like, I've had somebody with like, I do love you. And I'd be like, the fact that I, you know, put this on hold, put that on hold, put this on hold, I'm doing that because I love you, you know, but they want to be able to feel it, see it. And one of the things that I've realized is that I have to work on the way that I express emotion, because if I was me, I wouldn't think I love you know what I'm saying? I love me. If I was dating myself, I'd be like, I don't know what's on this man's mind half the time. You know, I don't know if he want to snap. I don't know if he, you know, in love. So there's certain things that I acknowledge that I have to work on. But I also acknowledge that a lot of people out here keep saying they want to be loved, and they don't know what love looks like to them. Like, if you really ask them, what does being loved looks like to you? And a lot of times well, I want to feel your physical connection. I want to feel like you'll put me first before everything else outside of your kids, or, you know.
Or a lot of times it's not even that. They want to be shown what other people are showing on social media. But the thing is that that's not love. That's just because I buy you a car and I show it off to the world. That's not love. That's just.
And that was one of the things that I was asking. You said something that hit the nail on the head. That is one of the biggest arguments in every relationship that I have been in. I don't post who I'm with on Facebook. As a matter of fact, I tend to block whoever I'm with on Facebook. Now, to that person, they like, that's sneaky, or you trying to hide me. You got all these females that like you and they can be on your page, but why can't I? And I have a valid reason for me why I don't want that person on my page, because I know, for one, there are a lot of people on my page who comment, you handsome, you look like this, you look like that. And I literally just act like they don't exist. And when I act like they don't exist, you know, I go on about my business. But when I'm dating somebody, they expect me to go be like, oh, nah, bitch, stay in your motherfucking place. Don't be saying I'm handsome. Don't be liking me. Why you like 13 of my pictures? And I'm not in a position where I can do that, because whether people want to believe it or not, I am a public figure. So when people like you and they think you're handsome and stuff, they tend to shop and, you know, support all your stuff. And that's how I pay our bills. That's how we went out the roof, Chris. So I don't normally say nothing. So I've learned that my best way to be able to not be disrespectful to what I got going on, but also be able to, you know, not run people off or put a bad taste in their mouth, is just ignore them. And some people can't understand that. You said what?
I was saying, I don't think that's always like a woman's motive, though, is to be like, oh, I want you to cut. Like, I just know for myself, I think that's weird. Anyway, if somebody give you a compliment, you cuss them out. That's a whole different level of issues that in my opinion. But I think the thing is, it's like, when it's something that, especially if they feel like it's like I guess real or whatever you want to call it, like, you show off what you show it all. Like, no matter what it is, whether it's you know, I don't know, no matter what it is, if it's somebody that you care about, you typically show them off. So I think
but that gets
I do have some things and some metrics that play into why I don't show them off. So for one, I have had a crazy life. So I got a person on my page right now named Kayla Love. Whoever that person is ain't really named Kayla Love. And they ain't using no real picture. And I don't know what I did to this person in this life or the past life, but every time I come out with a new girlfriend, they come and be like, yeah, he cheating on you. He probably doing you like he did the last person. And I don't even know the last person that they talking about, because the last time,
It's a fake page.
you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't know who it is. I'm like, whoever I hurt, my bad.
But the
Wait a
thing,
minute,
You know what I'm
just
saying?
added-
But
That's-
all that's enough to sow the
Kayla
seed.
Love
Yes, they on my Facebook page.
that person just added her.
They
face.
added me like a
That's
week. I
you?
was like, oh,
Is
yeah,
that you?
they added me. I was like, okay, I guess. And I
Oh,
added them
they
on. I ain't
added
think
you.
nothing of me. Huh? They sent
See?
me a friend request. I ain't think
See?
nothing of me.
For me,
Look,
for me,
And look,
for
I
me,
done, and I think I done interacted on your page before. I'm telling you, every time I show interest in
it was-
somebody,
they in the shit talk group too.
Oh, yes, you are.
They in the shit talk group.
every time I show interest
you
in
responded back to her post the other day.
You did. Hold
They in
on.
the shit
I'm
talk group.
telling
and
you,
probably-
you know what I'm saying?
but
I'm
my
glad
thing,
that this happened so you can
my-
see it. So stuff like that, imagine I'm being faithful and everything, but this woman has already been traumatized by all these niggas. She get on my page, she see all these women is always saying, oh, he look good, he look handsome, and it's the same people repeatedly. And then you get somebody to come in the inbox and be like, yeah, he fucking this other person and cheating on you like he did the last person. She already was kind of iffy.
For me, when it's going to talking to somebody, you get really getting close to them and everything else like that. Even like with my husband, when me and my husband was talking, nobody knew we were talking until we got engaged. Nobody knew we were talking. Nobody knew we were together. Nobody knew nothing. Everybody was like, who the hell this person is? But my thing is that I like to treat my relationship when I'm dating you like 1993. Delete all the electronics. We ain't got none of that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm on, because I was dating before MySpace came out. We were still on dial-up. Wasn't nobody trying to go through all of that extra work to be able to come over there. When I was dating, MySpace wasn't out. Then MySpace came out. We wasn't even, the only thing that mattered was who was your number one friend. And after that, we was just learning how to code. I think everybody who had a MySpace was a professional coder on that joint. So we was coding the hell out the pages. You know what I'm saying? So then Facebook came out. Facebook and social media and Instagram came out. You got Snapchat, you got TikTok, and if I ain't tagging you, making posts about you, you feel like I don't love you, and that's not how I'm built. That's not how I operate. Here's the thing: I may not have you on social media, but when we go out and them groupies see me out with you, I'm grabbing that ass. We walking on over here. I'm gonna be extra just so that you can see that it ain't nothing going on in front of those people. That's your time to shine when we out in public. Because honestly, when I get married again, you can have a password to this junk. You can post whatever you want to post. We can start an OnlyFans in this motherfucker if you really want to. I don't really care. We can do whatever you want to do. But until then, it's two things. I want to preserve and protect my relationship so that we can get to the marriage stage, which I can't do having them all on my page, especially when I got Kayla Love adding anybody who she think I got interest in and ruining that motherfucker. And then two, if we don't work out, because I told you, I don't tolerate certain things. You cut. If you do it, I got 1-0 tolerance thing, right? But it's really funny because it's one of my 0 tolerance rules is like a cover-all rule, to where it's like close enough, you did this, cut. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how you go to a lot of places and they make specific rules and they always make that one general rule to just cover the unknown in case that shit happen. I have an unknown 0 tolerance rule. Like, certain things I don't do. Like, if you come ask me about females and ask me about a female and I go, this is what's going on, and then you come back a month later and you ask me about that female again, cut.
Done.
I don't got time to deal with it. I don't got time to argue. I have high blood pressure. Then I got kids I got to deal with. I don't got time to babysit somebody else. You know what I'm saying? You cheat on me, cut. You know, and depending on how much I like you, I might even let you cheat once if the nigga look better than me. I might understand. You know what I'm saying? I might understand. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, if we out and Chris Brown try to give it to you or Kevin Gates try to give it to you and you don't fuck that nigga out there and they'll cut you for that. Because I want to be able to say my chick bad. She was fucking with Kevin Gates. Fuck you mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, but and I'm being silly, but like, and here's the reason why. I was with a person who I was talking to, right? And she was like, well, you don't see me allowing niggas to come on my page and say hey and do all of that. And you know, I let it be known I got a nigga and da 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 da, but you don't say nothing to the females who be trying to come at you. Well, I get that's how you may feel, but are you really taking the time to learn me? Cause I walked up and then heard my wife fucking another nigga through the window. So unless you gonna fuck a nigga in front of my face, I don't see nothing else that could top that to me. So you can't make me like go over the
That's
deep
good.
end over something like
That's a
that. Cause
very
I
valid
done been
point.
through something. So with that being said, if a nigga come to you and be like, hey babe, or hey, I literally I come on the post and I be like every time I would talk to a girl and I see a whole bunch of niggas on the post, I would come on the post on my own comment and just throw water droplets on that junk and then leave. Cause or she'll call and I'll be like, or she'll call and I'll be like, I seen your boo thing on there. You got you a whole little boo thing on Facebook, don't it? Like, I'm the type of person who don't get mad. But in reverse, if she saw a person doing that, oh well, you got your little flunkies and da 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 da. Like, she would get extremely upset about it. And one thing about me is I'm very, very, I'm direct. Hey, look, this is what you're gonna expect. This is how I'm gonna handle it. And I've learned that a lot of women, they'll say, yeah, I can deal with this. And then they'll come in and be like, well, I know you said this was going to happen, but I didn't know it was going to be like this. Cut. I don't do that. If I tell you this is how it's going to happen, I didn't put emphasis on how little or how big it was going to be. And that's why I say, don't come in with a whole bunch of caution. Have your zero tolerances. It's okay to cut niggas, especially women. Because I guarantee you, if you cut that nigga today, his friend gonna be in your inbox next week. I ain't saying date the friend, but I'm just saying women got options. It don't matter that it's more women than it is niggas. Women got more options because this niggas that'll lead the other woman to come mess with you if you good enough. You know, it's just until y'all married, I don't get mad if somebody leave a female for another female, bro. That's called an upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being for real. She knows it's true. If you had a hoopty today and I came in and was like, hey, I give you a free upgrade to this Benz. You're going to pay the same monthly note that you're going to pay for this hoopty and you're going to have a Benz. Is you going to stay riding the hoopty saying, oh, I'm going to be loyal? No, I got to upgrade. This situation no longer is beneficial to me. And now I got to go on ahead and upgrade. The only time that becomes wrong is once you exchange vows. And I'll even throw in the engagement, because once you engage to somebody, you have made a solid commitment that you're gonna exchange vows. But if we dating, we boyfriend, girlfriend, and you no longer suit a suitable purpose for me, and you're not forward moving me in my life, and I found another woman who made 90K, who out here got a good education, who take care of herself, who on her business, and you ain't, I'm gonna go on ahead and cut you. It's just how it is.
Use baby oil.
Oh yeah, you can't be ashy out here.
That still
Look,
has me
you
sick,
ain't
bro.
even
I've
gonna
never heard
meet the tryouts. And like, look, I'm telling you, I love black women. I just want to try some Japanese women because I ain't never tried it before. But I love black women. There's
I can
nothing.
introduce you to somebody if you like.
Look, if you got some women, bring them my way because I'm always upgrading until I get married. If they upgrade, cut. But the way that I love black women, but there are some black women out here who just don't give a shit. Could have the ability to be a 7 or 8 and just will be out here and be a 3 and a 4 willingly. And almost all of the time that it happens, majority of the time, it be the dark skinned women. And I hate it. And I feel like it's like that because I don't know why people look at darker skin and they demoralize it. And I don't. I just be like, moisturize yourself. Baby, I will go buy you some Eucerin ointment. Just put it on. Like, that's just what it is. Look, y'all know y'all think I'm playing. I know, man, my daughter was in here earlier today. My daughter wasn't doing what she was supposed to do. She done took it. But I still got the receipt. Real deal. Yesterday, she wasn't doing what she supposed to do. I'm like, baby girl, you're ashy out here, but I got you. I'm finna go buy you some Eucerin lotion You're gonna put that on your
You
skin first so that it gets moisturized, and then I'm gonna buy you some Aquaphor ointment. And you're gonna put that after you rub the lotion in. You're gonna be moisturized for about 12 hours after that.
I'm just saying the Eucerin, that shit right there keep you moisturized like 3 or 4 days.
You know what I'm saying? Look, it is only $12 a bottle, baby. I'll pay it. But you can't be like, because I ain't gonna lie, from Memphis, where we from, we talk about people. So you can't come around my family ashy, because now I got to get talked about for bringing an ashy motherfucker around the family, and you gonna get talked about in front of me for being ashy. And now I got to talk about you too, because you ashy.
See, that's not I unfortunately, and I have a darker skinned sister and brother. That's never been my experience that they don't put moisture on. Actually, I don't know any dark skinned person that don't put moisture on. I'm the one that's
Look,
normal.
I know 3 in Clarksville right now, and 2 of them live in the bricks.
I think it's the same 2 that I know as well, because they ankles white as hell. They ankle. I don't understand how your ankles be white, and you ain't nowhere near white.
I'm telling you, that's because they hop out the shower and just throw on clothes. No.
I look at it like this. If I'm ashy,
But see, it look like your skin is naturally moist. So I mean,
her
it's naturally
skin
oily.
naturally moist, so she ain't never actually ashy.
Time out. Listen,
So,
you can't see it. These legs look like you can strike a match on them. They so ashy.
Silly.
Like, I'm just
look,
saying,
but see, that's when you gotta have somebody come in who's like me and be like, baby, you want a massage? Really, AKA, baby, you ashy as hell, so I'm finna go ahead and rub this oil up.
I'm not sorry. You know that's what homeboy does. He be like, babe, let me get the lotion. My feet like I done climbed up the mountain. It'd be so white. Like, because to me, it don't matter. It's like, whatever. Don't look at my legs. I don't care. I have gone to the doctor, work, office, everything. Powdery legs.
And that's, like I said, them be the things. Like, I ain't finna bring no ashy. Being a single father, I'm from Memphis, so I teach my kids to talk about people all the time. Because that's like, if they had an Olympic thing for that in Memphis, we would probably have a gold medal. So I'm not finna bring no ashy person around my kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna even do that to them or my kids, because we all gonna talk about you until you go in the bathroom and put some of that Eucerin ointment I just bought my daughter on. So, it's just stuff like that. Like I said, I have nothing against Black women. It's just, if you dark and you ashy, you just got zero chance with me.
That's funny.
Just is what it is. You got to keep yourself up. You got to keep yourself moisturized. You got to look like something. And now, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm getting to the point now to where you can't even just be moisturized. Now I'm requesting that they make $90K a year.
I mean that's not a bad goal.
I personally would prefer that over the lotion. We'll figure out the
lotion
part.
Yeah, if you could make $90K a year, I know you could at least afford the lotion. So we'll, sometimes you got to go to your Build-A-Girl shop, just like you got to Build-A-Bear. Sometimes you got to go to your Build-A-Girl shop. Now, I ain't gonna pay for no BBL, but you know what I'm saying? If we just got to buy a bottle of lotion to upgrade you 1 point on the scale of 1 to 10, we could do that. But now I'm starting to realize that I have done a disservice to myself as a single father for years. I keep dating. So remember how I told you men want to feel needed, right?
Mm-hmm.
I took that and put it on steroids. Because I keep finding these women that need a nigga. I'm talking about 1 month in, my life's gonna be cut off. So,
hold up, what?
It's women out there who don't care 1 month in. Be like,
I'm gonna let you know real quick. I have learned. You text me and say my lights gonna be turned off. I will wait until the day after your lights gonna be turned off. They be lying. Don't lie at all. I have stayed with somebody. I stayed with somebody, and literally, I was giving them rent money. Didn't even know they owned the damn house. She taught me how to look up to see if they own the house. That's how I found they own the house.
So I found out that I kept putting myself in a position. I do want to feel like my woman needs me, but not financially. And that's just where we at right now. So when I come to women now and I be like, hey, I don't say what do you bring to the table. I say what do you do? How much you make? Because at the end of the day, I already got the house and the table. I got that. I'm just trying to see what I'm gonna be getting myself into because I'm a single father now, and I keep realizing that I keep going through this, looking for the same metrics and ending up with another child.
Yeah, makes sense.
I never understood why men like dated women that weren't on their, at least in they pay bracket to a degree. Like I never understood.
Because they got big booties and they fine. Like I ain't gonna lie, the finest women I done met be broke. They be so dang on fine.
I was gonna tag on to that. Literally, makeup, powder, and paint can make you everything you ain't.
What they got to do with what I just said?
It's literally literally.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like when you that fine, baby. I think I can get rid of one of the kids. You know what I'm saying? I may have room for one more bill in this bug. You know? Oh, and I'm just saying, when you that fine, men to be over there. Look, if you want men to act like they can't budget their money or nothing, but let them get a woman fine enough. Them niggas be over there into full-blown accountants, man. If I go on ahead and I spare this, I can buy her some 10A quality weave and she can get her hair done every, 2 months. That should be able to last her. And we're going to be able to get the real human hair. That way she can wash it, press it, and that jump bounce back when it get a little dry. You do extra stuff for women when they just be that fine. Like I was talking to this one person, old head, fine. But the issue with her is that she's so immature. She do stuff, and I'm looking for somebody. I'm dating older because I want you to be a little bit more mature. But she immature. But she fine as hell. To this day, me and her ain't together and I don't like her, but she fine. She was fine. Talking about hazel eyes, light skin, but I ended up putting myself in a position looking at looks and I ignored everything else. And that's what men do.
Yep. Well, this was a good conversation tonight. This was great. This was really, really great. And I like to circle back around for the Passport Bros again. And Matthew, his business Dream Wings. If anybody in Clarksville, Tennessee, check them out. They're absolutely delicious. And in Texas, Brodney Moses, attorney at law. He is awesome. Look him up if you need help with any law issues, children, or anything like that.
Look respective to your state.
And if you're in Tennessee, I do want to add, if anybody is in Tennessee and they need advice on how to navigate the system, Matthew Boss King Burns, tell them just to hit me up. I'm gonna give them the real because again, I've been doing it for 17 years. I'm willing to help anybody for free. I ain't a lawyer. I'm not giving them legal advice, but I'm gonna give them the real and the reality of what to expect, what to go through, and how to navigate. When they go there. So if anybody's in Tennessee, Matthew Boss King Burns, hit my page up, and I'll assist any way I can in trying to make sure that they get through it. And women too. I ain't gonna leave out the women because there's some women that need help too. So if women need help, men need help, just reach out and I got you.
All right.
In Tennessee.
And what's the hours that Dreams Wings is open?
Dream Wings is open Tuesday through Saturday from 10:30 to 9 p.m. and Sunday from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m.
All right, awesome. And I'll be there on Thursday to get my wings.
Oh, I get to try to.
Yeah, you get to try the wings too. We'll be there on Thursday. All right, and thank y'all so much. Shit Talk Podcast is up. You go to our website as well. We'll put links in there as well to help y'all out so far, legal advice and everything else like that for states that you're in. Thank you so much, and y'all have a great night.
Night.